Welcome to Millennial Milkshake, the podcast where three Pookies revisit, re-experience, and review anything and everything from our childhood. My name's Colin O'Connell, and I was born in 1994.
My name's Josh Sicali. I was born in 1995.
My name's Michelle Potter. I was born in 1997.
And today we have a very special guest. Do you want to introduce yourself, guest?
Sure, why not? So my name is Jake Bose, and I was born in 1997.
Woo!
Yeah,
we can clap. We can clap it up.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
Welcome, Jake.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me on.
And today, if you didn't, I'm not, struggling to breathe. That was a reference to the classic Hey Arnold character, Brainy, because today we're reviewing Hey Arnold. Can you believe it?
So, who wanted this more than anyone on the podcast? I believe this was...
I think it was Michelle, John.
I don't really remember.
Not sure.
I don't know either. But either way,
Yeah.
this was chosen by our very special guest, Jake. So I think Jake should set us off with some very special memories he has with this, if any.
Yeah, so when you guys gave me the opportunity to be on here, I think I was between two shows. It was Hey Arnold and Cat Dog were the two that I was like, I'd really like to revisit those two shows. And so we got to do Hey Arnold. And yeah, I don't, this is a weird show for me because I remember watching it so vividly as a kid, but I can remember so very little about individual episodes. Yeah, I don't remember a ton about it, and I think that's why I was so excited to revisit it, was because like I just remembered loving it so much and just not remembering much. But I do remember one specific episode, and it had to have been one of the episodes where they did like split episodes, which I feel like is a majority of them. And it was the one where Arnold, he takes part in an eating contest, and I don't know why I remember it so vividly and none of the other episodes, but I think like a large part of it is like, so one of the like running gags or jokes in the show is that anytime there's like a town legend or like a myth, Gerald, Arnold's best friend, is the one to like tell everybody, and he like gathers everyone around and he tells the myth, and he tells the myth of this kid who Arnold has to go up against, who apparently has like 2 stomachs. That's how good at eating he is. And I don't know why that stuck out in my memory, like how many years later, but that's like the only thing I remember from that show, other than like obviously Helga's like undying crush for Arnold. That was like a constant that I could remember. But yeah, so that's like my experience with the show and why I was really excited to revisit it. Yeah, what are your guys' experiences with it?
I remember that exact episode.
What's the season and episode?
Oh, I don't know about that. I remember it ends with they have to eat an ice cream sundae at the end.
Yeah.
And the kid is just like munching on it. And Arnold isn't eating anything. And then the kid like passes out or whatever. He fucking dies. And then they're like, Arnold, you just have to do one more bite. And he takes like the whipped cream and the cherry, huh? Yeah. On brand. And he eats it, and they're like, Arnold's the winner. And I'm like, that's not fair. The other kid ate so much of that sundae. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he really
Arnold
weaseled
took
his
like
way.
he took the whipped cream, the least filling part of like, sorry Josh, but the least filling part of the sundae.
It's all right. It's all right.
No, yeah, that stands out so much in my memory. Like, but hey, listen, Arnold is such a pure kid, so he deserves it.
He really is like pure of heart. Like he tries so hard. Like the episodes we watched,
yeah,
he tried so hard.
No, in my notes, literally in every episode that I watched, I took a note down like Arnold is so wholesome. Like I can see why this was such like a popular kids show and why it went on for like 5 seasons, because like not only does it have more mature themes, but like Arnold is such a good kid, like such a good like little role model for like kids to watch.
Oh my god, the show was Ted Lasso before Ted Lasso was a thing.
I still
It
have
really
to watch
was.
that. I haven't
Me too.
taken a look at it yet.
It's excellent.
It's so good.
There's too much TV to watch.
That's what I'm saying.
But yeah, I mean, obviously I have strong personal connections. I vividly remember a lot of episodes, a lot of plot lines. You know, I was little peek behind the curtain. I was sending links to you guys before we started the episode of Mr. Quinn's song "The Simple Things," of the Ronnie Matthews song "I Saw Your Face in Wow." You know, all that good stuff. So I watched a lot of Hey Arnold growing up, like so much Hey Arnold. Like, I don't know if there was a show I watched more, except for maybe like SpongeBob, but as far as cartoons are concerned, yeah, that's definitely up there.
Can I ask then, when you guys asked me to pick the episodes, like just from memory, like the episodes outside of the pilot, which we watched, but the other two that I just picked, did it like get you excited to like revisit those episodes, like just from your memory, or?
Oh, 100%.
So I didn't remember the Helga one at first. When I started watching it, I remembered it, but I didn't remember the Helga one at first. But the Christmas one, I definitely was like, oh yeah,
that one like
is a heavy one.
Stands out like amongst like Hey Arnold fans. Like you look at like any like best episodes of like Hey Arnold, and like Arnold's Christmas just like tops every list.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, so when I was excited, it was more to just revisit the show in general. I had no idea like what the episodes were, because I, like you, Jake, I remember watching it. I just don't remember. I can't even remember any episode specifically. It's just when I was watching it, I remembered characters or specific actions or things like that. So I was super excited to just watch them again and kind of like rehash those memories.
Yeah, I was in the same boat as Jake and Josh. I remember watching it a lot.
I mean, I never thought it'd be this simple, but we found a way.
We did find a way. Yeah, I remember watching it a lot, but I can't really pinpoint, or I couldn't really pinpoint any specific episode, really. I feel like when you suggested Arnold's Christmas, that one sort of, I remember it vaguely, but yeah, I was really excited just to revisit it in general because I couldn't remember anything specific, really.
We should have just had Jake pick Drake and Josh to do. So that way we can have that. But
See,
Is there a way to watch Drake Bell's prison sentence? Because that'd be pretty cool.
at this
live
point,
stream that?
I can never go back to like Drake and Josh at this point now, which really sucks. But like knowing what we know now,
but Josh, but Josh is fine.
but Drake. No, I love Drake and Josh. I would have liked that one too, but I'm glad we went with Hey Arnold.
same.
I feel like there's more to talk about with Hey Arnold, especially since like three of us don't remember much about it at all, and like obviously someone who like it sounds like it, if not being like your favorite, it was one of your favorite shows growing up.
Oh, I have said, I think I've told Josh this before. Going before this, just to, kind of set the record straight, I have said the words, I think, quote, Hey Arnold is the greatest cartoon ever made. We'll see if that holds up later in the episode, of course, but, that was
Like,
my opinions before we rewatch these episodes.
Animation as a whole, or like kids animation?
I mean, I kind of put those in two different levels.
Okay.
Right? Like,
Yeah,
I don't compare
no.
The Simpsons to Hey Arnold.
Yeah, I was just thinking like
You
something
know.
like BoJack Horseman, which is like very
Yeah.
adult, but like great.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to like
Yeah.
put SpongeBob next to like Rick and Morty and be like, well, they're the same thing.
So yeah, I wasn't.
don't know, yeah.
So Colin, when you said that, I wasn't actually sure if you were taking, like, if you were kind of separating the more kids cartoons to the adult ones, or if you were just lumping it all, making that statement for Hey Arnold.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
It's hard.
know if I could say Hey Arnold's better than like Prime Simpsons, because that's that
Yeah.
invented everything.
Yeah.
Like everything we've ever watched was influenced by that show. But all right. I mean, do we have anything to learn today? I mean, we have a new student, so
We do have a new student, and let
Jake,
me
you
tell
have to pick
Jake,
your seat. You have to decide where you're sitting.
the more you know.
I'm sitting in the
So-
back.
That's a good choice.
I was a back of the classroom kid.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I was middle. I was middle to side classroom kid. I thought that's where like the least attention would be put.
Yeah, I was.
That's
I
not
was.
a bad
Yeah.
idea.
Yep, I was middle to back, and I wish I wasn't.
Did you want to be front row?
Too.
Yeah, sometimes I was forced to be in the front row, and that sucks.
Oh, I hated
Yeah.
that. You'd come into class first day and they're like, "Yeah, you have assigned seating."
No, one time I got moved from the very back to the very front. It was actually by my history teacher, Michelle. It was by my history teacher. He actually did like me a lot. That's why he liked to pick on me. So yeah, he was probably my favorite teacher, and he just kind of did it one day. I think I was maybe giggling or something, or a little chuckle here and there, and I just remember him, said, "Callie, your new seat's gonna be the front now." And that was my spot the rest of the year. Which
Ooh, the whole year.
well,
Wow.
Oh my God.
So Colin, you remember we did block scheduling towards like the end of our high school time. So it was when we did that. So it was like the end of that. So I was only in the front row for maybe like 2 months.
That's
Now
not too
you're-
bad.
And now,
And now look at
and
me.
now where are you sitting?
And that's
Now
how we
look at
got
you.
into college.
Look at me now.
Look at you now. Right. So, the more you know. So, Hey Arnold was created by Craig Bartlett. It aired on Nickelodeon from October 7th, 1996 to June 8th, 2004. So his idea for the show actually started when he was working on Pee-wee's Playhouse. Call back to Pee-wee Herman.
He's gonna do the laugh.
No.
Okay.
In 87, he was working on Pee-wee's Playhouse, and he created claymation for the show, and he also created this sort of minor character named Arnold. And he made 3 shorts with this character, and one of them was actually picked up by Sesame Street, and they aired it on Sesame Street. It was called Arnold Rides His Chair. And then several years later, he was working on Rugrats, I think, and he teamed up with the writers from Rugrats to develop like animation projects for Nickelodeon, and he pitched Hey Arnold to Nickelodeon, and they loved it but wanted to do like sort of the standard animation. So that's when they switched over from a claymation to like the traditional animation. And I think it aired like a year after he pitched it.
You said Sesame Street?
Yeah.
Michelle, how much Sesame Street did you watch growing up?
Not much.
So,
Not much at all.
I mean, I just feel like every time we just need to talk about your childhood sometimes, because you're playing snow cones, you're Sesame Street, you didn't watch Sesame Street, you didn't watch any show, like, ever. Like, any, like, preschool show was, like, you watched some weird, like, bullshit.
Yeah, I would just watch the news.
Oh,
Not really. I didn't.
I would watch the
didn't.
Weather Channel.
Yeah.
I actually, Colin, not to disappoint you, but I didn't watch as much Sesame Street as I feel like a lot of kids did. That was more my older brother's show.
That's fine. See? That's fine. No, don't go see like you've lumped yourself in with Josh, because we have discussed in detail how many, like, I've listed so many shows, and you're like, I've never seen that show. I've never heard of that show. What is that show? What is this show? And it's like any preschool show you can almost think of, Michelle didn't watch it.
Oh, Michelle, did you like really never see Sesame Street?
I mean, I'm sure I watched it here and there, but
so that's like
no, I didn't like
name
watch
3
it.
characters, not name Big Bird.
Bert and Ernie,
That counts as
That
one.
counts
Yeah, that's one.
Yeah.
Yep.
the trash can,
No.
Oscar.
Oscar what?
Yeah, what's his last name? His middle name and last name.
He's not an actual trash can.
He's also
He
He lives in the trash can.
I'm so sorry. Oscar the Grouch.
Yep, there we go.
That's all I got.
I'm going to give my
Terrible.
kid's middle name, I'm going to have it be The.
That's good.
Greg the Sicali. You couldn't name fucking Elmo, Michelle? I'm sorry, what?
Oh, that was Sesame Street? I didn't want to be wrong.
Did you think it was the Muppets?
No, well, Elmo had his own show, right?
You also could have named Kermit because he was on Sesame Street.
Again, I wasn't sure which was which. I
Well,
didn't
he
want
was
to be
on
wrong.
both. He was on
Yeah.
Sesame Street and also the
Okay,
Muppets.
okay.
What about the Cookie Monster?
Galapagos. Cookie Monster. Grover.
Oh, you're right.
I think he's the veggie monster now, isn't he?
What?
Didn't they
Is
change
he?
him? I thought they
Is he?
changed him.
Yuck.
That could have been a rumor.
Colin, I can ask you this question. Who was the guy that really went ham on the piano? He had like the blonde hair. He had like he would always have the song skit. I don't know if it was a lot of episodes. It might have just been one and it's just sticking out in my head.
Like a real guy or one of the Muppets?
It was one of the Muppets. He had like, yeah. I don't know if he.
I can think of Dr. Teeth from the Muppets, but I don't think that's who you're talking about.
That's gonna drive me insane.
Well, while we wait for that answer, Michelle, do we have anything else to learn?
Yes. So, okay, after 5 seasons, and I think there was 100 episodes total, the show aired its last episode in June in 2004, unannounced. So it kind of had this like abrupt ending, I think. And Hey Arnold, the movie, was released in theaters on June 20th, 2002, like before the show officially ended. And there was actually another movie. I don't know if any of you saw this. I vaguely remember it being announced when it came out. But 2016, a television continuation of the series, Hey Arnold, the Jungle movie, got greenlit, and it picks up from where the series ends and supposedly resolves like all of the unanswered plot lines of the series. It premiered in 2017 on Nicktoons, T-Nick, and it also had a theatrical release in 2018, I think.
It should have been called Hey Arnold, Welcome to the Jungle, and then they could have gotten the rights to Guns N' Roses.
Could have.
I'm upset when anything's ever called Jungle and then it's not called Welcome to the Jungle, because it's like it's right there. You know?
Missed opportunity.
Jumanji did it, right?
Right, Jumanji did it.
Thanks, Jumanji.
You can do it.
It's
Jumanji can do it. You can do it.
It's The Rock. He's a marketing genius.
Yeah, The Rock came up with it.
So they released that movie, I guess, just because people were really gunning for it, like 13 years after the show was canceled. You catch that?
That's so passive aggressive.
I honestly didn't mean to make that pun, but I'll stand by it. Yeah, so there was that movie.
Well, not to interrupt, have you guys seen the animation for that movie? Like they did like an updated animation, like they're prone to do. So like instead of just doing like a better looking version of the original animation, they had to like update it. It's not like 3D, I don't think, but it like the character designs are like god awful. They do that thing now, like they did with like Pokemon, where they like went for the cute factor over the like creative unique factor, and yeah, it ain't it.
Did you see the movie?
No, I just out of curiosity, because like I did a little research just to like find out when Hey Arnold aired and like all that stuff. But I saw that they released a 2016 or 2017 movie, and I was like, this cannot be good. So like I went on YouTube and like watched the trailer and watched like just some clips from it to get like a gist, and it's just it has that like energy of like, let's just prey on people's nostalgia and like try to get a quick buck. It's I don't know what they were doing. I mean, obviously I do. They were trying to make money, but yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I don't know.
Oh my god, I'm looking at it now. Gerald's
It's
hair
bad.
is not high enough at all. First off,
Quick Google search.
his hair needs to be about 3 feet higher than this.
Yeah, they took like, and like I was going to mention that when we talked about the episodes, but like one of the things that's so great about the show is like all the unique character designs and like how like, I don't know, like.
Why is Stinky wearing a bowling shirt?
I don't know.
this movie has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. That is
Maybe it's really good.
there's
Yeah, how many reviews?
mean-
12?
probably.
It's the Paddington 2 of movies.
Paddington 2 is wonderful.
fantastic. It's fantastic.
Wow.
I haven't seen it.
Oh man.
I also haven't seen
I
it.
just know it has 100% or did or something. I don't know.
Okay, so
All right.
well, maybe I judge the movie too harshly.
I mean, who knows?
Oh,
It could be
the
great.
answer is 8 reviews, Michelle. It has 8 reviews.
It has an audience score of 91%
Yikes.
though.
There you go. The audience knows what's up.
Yeah. You mean the thing that was genetically engineered by a corporation to please old fans, that the fans like it? Wow. Shocking.
Yeah, just a few other like fun facts that I came across. One of the coolest things I think about this show is that kids were actually the voices of the characters. So I feel like a lot of times they use adults to voice kids, but they actually hired, I think like all of their cast was children voicing like the actual characters in the show, which was pretty cool. Like Francesca Smith, who voiced Helga, was 11 when she started. Craig Bartlett also voiced several characters on the show himself. Some of the characters included the radio DJ, Brainy, one of my favorites, Abner the Pig, and Arnold's dad, Miles Shortman.
Arnold's dad can't be in a lot of episodes.
He's not.
I feel like he just has like an episode. Don't they have
Right.
like an episode where they like, I don't know, talk about his parents?
Mhm.
Yeah. Probably the parents are probably in like the fucking movie too.
Probably.
Like that's probably the resolution.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah, I think he just like voiced like just really small sort of voice parts. But and 6 different actors voiced Arnold, so like whenever they would like flash back to when he was younger, they had 6 different people do his voices throughout the show, which I thought was pretty cool. Okay. Helga's family, at one point, the Pataki family was supposed to have their own spin-off, which we will get into. It was supposed to be a show on Nick at Night, you know, a little darker
Well, that
than
makes
normal
sense.
Nickelodeon.
What?
Yeah, and they offered it to MTV too at one point. What the but they declined it because it was too similar to Daria, which is a show I haven't seen, so I don't really know about that. But we'll get into Helga's family. But I just thought that was really interesting. That would have been
I
Quite
wonder
the
if they were
show.
doing Clone High at that time too,
ooh.
because that would be like, why would MTV be getting into animation so much, if not for
Yeah.
like a brief point in time?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. And now it's what? It's all like Teen Mom 5, whatever,
Yeah.
and Jersey Shore,
Oh.
and that's all of MTV.
Yeah, a lot of reality television.
I think it's all reality. I think at this point.
Yeah, is it?
I don't
It
think.
feels like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have like the channel now where it's like, we show music videos on this channel, and it's like, that's what you were before. That's what you originally were.
Well, I think the internet killed that.
Yeah. Well.
Like, I feel like also like the internet killed something like ESPN too. Like, ESPN used to be cool because you could like see the highlights there where you couldn't see the highlights online. Now you can just go online on YouTube and watch all the cool highlights, so you don't have to wait up till 8 p.m. to watch ESPN.
But Jake, I need Stephen A. Smith to tell me what to think about baseball. Like,
That's fair. I need to hear
Only ESPN.
Max Kellerman's thoughts on things.
yeah. Josh, Michelle, you loving this ESPN talk?
Yeah, so I have to apologize to everyone, especially Michelle. I know I was like out of commission for like a solid, feels like 5 minutes. So you can move me to the front of the classroom next time. But I was just so distracted trying to find this Sesame Street character that I mentioned about 5 minutes ago. But
So what was his name?
I was listening. I didn't even bother looking for that because I didn't want to disrespect Michelle's classroom anymore. But I sent I sent the picture of him.
So I thought you meant this guy, Josh, whose name is Don Music.
No, he came up though when I was trying to look for him.
Okay.
But yeah, so this guy I'm talking about, I don't think ever comes back. I think he's literally in one skit.
Really?
But it's like so memorable to me. I thought he was like a recurring character. But that's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite moments in Sesame Street. It cracks me up every time I watch it. So I encourage you guys to watch it. Jake, I'm going to send it to you too. Oh man. So that's why I was laughing a little bit while Michelle was teaching. So sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I was paying attention. I'm a good student.
Yeah. No.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Joey.
What did she talk about today? She talked about fucking movies and shit. I don't know.
There will be a quiz.
Can give-
MTV or
eventually,
something.
No,
so-
I don't test well. I'm sorry.
You can give me a D- for participation, Michelle.
Ooh.
I mean, you want to talk about tests, Michelle? I mean, Josh has scored higher than you in 2 straight tests.
Low key, that puppet design, Josh. That puppet design is pretty awesome, actually.
It's fantastic, and I don't know if
That's
he ever
awesome.
comes back.
You know
Oh,
who he
man.
looks like? Did you ever see the John C. Reilly when he plays the one doctor? I can't remember the character's name. He looks like that. I'll send you.
Well, John C. Reilly looks like a Muppet in general, so.
Wait, Colin, he looks like the blonde guy or the doo-wop guys?
No, he looks like the blonde guy.
Oh, that's great.
Dr. Steve Brule. I'm gonna send it. I'll just show it to you here because this is all staying in, by the way.
Oh,
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
did somebody say live action remake?
All right, guys. I think class is basically over for today. The only last thing I found, according to...
Put the bell rung. Put teacher,
All
the bell
right.
rung. You
hold
legally
on.
can't keep us here.
Just hold on. Just 1 second. Just 1 second.
My bus is
and
gonna
you can go to your
leave.
next class.
It's like in Mean Girls when he's like, "We'll keep you here all day," and they're like, "We can keep you till 4." He's like, "We will keep you here till 4."
Oh, that was the worst. When your teacher would keep you after class and you were genuinely afraid your bus was going to leave without you. Like that? Does that ever happen to anyone?
It's
I don't know. I
psychological
was a good
warfare.
student.
Yeah, I don't think that happened to me.
Yeah.
But I think the principal is my favorite character in Mean Girls. I'm just going to say that.
Oh, Tim Meadows, he's great. He's so good. He comes out with the baseball bat and he's like, "Oh hell no."
I love that movie. No. So the highest ranking episode is an episode that we reviewed, which is Arnold's Christmas. So I thought that was cool. The highest, what did I say? Ranking? Yes. Highest ranking, highest rated episode.
Based on who?
Based on IMDb, which I feel like is a trustworthy source.
It's all right.
It's all right.
I mean, I've heard of it, so I'm not going to
Yeah.
challenge it.
All right. Thank you. Class is missed.
You know what is funny? We probably should have explained how we know Jake.
Yeah.
I
We really should.
I just showed up one day.
We just
This is our stranger
Yeah.
friend named Jake.
pulled him right
We
off the
get
streets.
Nothing else answered.
I actually
That's all you need
heard
to know.
I heard their podcast and tracked them down. And
Yeah, what you
found
guys
them.
can't see is he's holding us at gunpoint currently.
He sent us a
He was like, "Washington
Email?
Arnold."
So if we do give everyone backstory, it's important that we don't get sidetracked into a long conversation about where we came from.
Well, okay.
Yeah,
listen.
just a quick
here's how
rundown.
we know Jake.
Cliff notes.
I locked Jake in a closet once, and that's a true story.
I was just telling that at work the other day.
Yeah, we worked with Jake. Who worked with Jake the longest? Michelle, probably, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, we all work together, and that's kind of how we know him. And I literally locked him in a closet once by accident.
Yeah, I was in there for like
Important
20
note.
minutes.
That was not bullshit. It was not 20 minutes. It was like 2 minutes, and you're like, you texted me. You're like, I think you locked me in the closet. LOL.
I think I sent it at 2 minutes. I don't think you read it till 20.
Oh well, whatever.
Ooh.
Oh no, I read it.
You actually left him in there.
Yep, that's the short story.
Yeah,
Met at work.
that's how I know
I've
him.
been friends ever since.
Yep.
Yep.
All right,
To quote,
I want to learn some real facts.
yeah, get out. Yeah, teacher's done. Teacher's dead. This is your substitute teacher.
This is after school
Here, and I'm
teachings.
going to teach you. This is an after-school special of Apple Facts. And today, since we have a guest, figured, hey, why not let the guest have the privilege of the absolute privilege of reading Apple Facts. So Jake, whenever you're ready,
Yeah.
take us away.
Well, I'm honored. Apple Facts is a favorite segment of mine on this astute podcast. So let's get into it. Apple Facts for Hey Arnold. There were rumors of a sort of Hey Arnold remake soft reboot recently because Hollywood isn't creatively bankrupt enough, apparently. The concept was going to be Arnold is actually the quarterback of the New York Jets. And it was going to be called Hey Darnold, named after NFL quarterback Sam Darnold. And look, I'll be honest, I'm a couple of margaritas in and I don't know how to finish this joke. Wow, this fact derailed faster than Sam Darnold's career with the Jets.
Boom, got him. Sam Darnold got him. Millionaire, got him.
I think it was the mono that really got him last year.
I think it was being on the Jets that really got him last
Yeah,
year.
he's in Carolina now, so he's got more opportunity. I don't know with that roast though. I don't know if he can come back from that one. If you're listening to this, Sam Darnold, get wrecked.
Yeah. You're not invited on the podcast, Sam Darnold.
Get wrecked.
This is our first band. We've talked about how many people have we talked about? We've talked about James Franco. We've talked about Drake Bell. But Sam Darnold, you're the one who's banned for being bad at football.
Okay. I have some seriously fond memories of watching this show. The episode where Curly is supposed to be the ball monitor and takes the school hostage. The episode where they think Stinky is a vampire. The episode where Mr. Pataki and Grandpa play a game of golf to see who has to pay for the damages to their car. The Stoop Kid episode. The episode of Where's Arnold's Cousin came to town and Arnold has to bring his cousin to California because he embezzled $15 million from a Chicago mob boss. And initially, you don't think Arnold and his cousin are going to get along because they're so different. But in the end, they become friends and work together. Oh shit. Or was that Midnight Run? I'm always getting Hey Arnold and Midnight Run mixed up.
Good movie.
I mean, you know, De Niro has a lot of similarities to Arnold, so I can see that.
Yeah, they were both boxers. They were
Yeah.
both taxi drivers. Yeah.
Okay. Arnold is a normal kid who lives in the city in the attic of an immediate relative's apartment complex. He's literally the opposite of Harry Potter. Arnold has a pet pig. Harry has a pet owl. Harry has two very white best friends. Arnold has one black best friend. Harry's arch-nemesis is a psychotic, snake-like human who is weirdly obsessed with him and uses violence to get his way. Arnold's arch-enemy is, well, shit, I guess Helga is pretty much the same as Voldemort. You win this round, J.K. Rowling.
It's kind of weird how similar they are, though, isn't it?
It's uncanny how similar they are. Okay. The creator of Hey Arnold is Craig Bartlett. Craig Bartlett was also a story editor and writer for the show Sid the Science Kid. That means literally nothing to anyone listening except for my sister. Hey sis, I'm looking for my friends. I'm looking for you. Hey, there's Gerald. Wait, there's a Gerald in both Arnold and Sid, and they're both the best friends of the protagonist. Is this world even real anymore?
So Sid the Science Kid is a show that was a PBS show made for preschoolers. And I would come home from 8th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade. My sister would come home from high school, and we would sit down and watch the show together. And it was for little kids. And it was like the funniest thing in the world. Like, you're going to have to look it up because it is a trip. Like what this show is. The animation's so ugly.
Not in a charming way.
No. So you'll have to look it up. You'll have to look up the opening, like the Friend song.
I don't know if I've heard of Sid the Science Kid, but now I feel like I have to watch all of it.
It's something.
Every episode.
Every single one.
Yep.
I can't assume it got canceled early. Okay. All right. This is the last Apple fact. Let's bring it home. I swear to fucking God, Arnold wears the smallest hat imaginable. Like, I get it. He has a massive head, but I'm pretty sure Arnold got that hat as a baby. He did. That means he's wearing the same hat he got when he was an actual infant. Who the fuck does that? Does he still eat baby food? Does he still suck his thumb? Actually, come to think of it, I remember an episode where Arnold shit his pants and Oscar Kakashka had to clean up his football-shaped turds. That last one was aggressive.
I mean,
so I'm just gonna say, as funny as Arnold's hat is, I gotta say, I think it's a little funnier when Gerald wears a hat, because it's just a hat that covers his hair. It doesn't go on his head.
Because his hair is like 4 feet tall.
You still see some of his hair when he's wearing his hat. It's.
Well, he has the Marge Simpson hair, right? Like that's. Mm-hmm. Like, have you ever seen like the meme of like I think it's Marge Simpson and what's Homer's friend? Is it Lenny? Or no, Carl. And it's like shows them together, and then it like equal Gerald. So now that we've gotten, through real actual facts, I guess we should review this thing.
Oh boy.
Let me get my notes up.
Do we want to go episode, just kind of talk through the episodes? I think that's how we normally do it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So we watched season 1, episode 1, which is split into 2 different episodes. I believe it's Downtown as Fruits and Eugene's Bike, right?
Indeed.
Yep.
So Downtown is Fruits. I remember this song. I remember this episode, but I also remember the song that they sing. We're fruits. We're fruits. We really make you do.
Is that true? Does fruit make you fart? I didn't think it did.
I didn't think it did.
I thought that was just like beans and chili.
I think certain ones do. Certain ones like high in fiber, right? Like strawberries.
That's terrible. I love strawberries.
I remember the other song a little bit more. The meat song. I'm a ham, I am.
It's like reading the Dr. Seuss book, I tell you.
Mm-hmm.
Tupac who? Those are the real rhymes.
But
yeah,
let
fuck
me
you, Andre 3000. I'm watching Hey Arnold.
Let me just start out by saying I completely forgot about the intro until I watched it, and I was like, oh wow. I'm getting like,
oh Josh.
I know. But when I saw it, I remembered every single thing about it.
Rocks my fucking dick off is what it does.
Oh man. I like Helga saying Arnold like a bunch of times. It was crazy how much that actually clicked. As soon as I saw it, I could like quote it and recite the whole intro.
Oh yeah, you can go. Sorry.
Oh, does she say like "move it, football head" in the intro? Is that at the beginning of the episode? She says it in the intro, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Even like in that, Arnold is so unbothered. Like right from the intro, you just know. Like what a great, wholesome kid. He's like, yeah, whatever, I'll take it.
And it really, like, as wholesome as he is, like, sometimes he really, like, especially when she says move a football head, he just looks like a wise ass. Like,
Yeah.
He's like, I'm
Got,
gonna
like,
move,
this dumb
but
smirk on his
yeah.
face.
No, he's a good kid.
He is a good kid.
No, he is a little bit of a smug little bitch sometimes, though.
He is kind of a shit in this first episode, though.
Well, and in this, it's the second part of this episode.
He's great in the
especially.
second part. What are you talking about?
Well, okay.
He's so
let's
nice
do
in the
first
second
one
part of the
first.
episode.
it's a little overshadowed by the beatings that Eugene takes throughout. So it's
But he
And there's
doesn't
a
intend
point
that.
where he's literally like, okay, what does he say? I wrote it down. He's like, this kid's a dork, so I have to give him a good time.
He's like, every dork has his day or something.
Yeah, that's what he says.
They don't make content like that these days.
one of the first things I noticed was, all right, so how old are they? Are they like, I remember
Fourth?
9 or 10.
They're 9, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember Mr.
Yeah,
Bailey.
they all ride the bus by themselves.
They
Well,
do.
the voices, like Arnold's voice was a lot deeper than I remembered. For a 9-year-old, I mean, I thought it sounded like an early teen.
Oh, Arnold's actually 35. That's a
Oh.
little known fact.
Oh.
That's why his grandparents are so old.
Yeah, at the end of the series, they revealed that. We didn't get to that episode.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's like, what's that fucking movie with
Orphan.
Yeah.
Yep. Spoiler if you haven't seen that movie.
Who gives a shit?
But
You're worried about
Don't see
spoiling
that movie.
Orphan? Excuse me.
it's not great.
It's not. No, one of the funniest things about Eugene, and I don't know if we wanted to like talk, because it is one episode, but it's like split, like you said. I didn't know if you guys wanted to talk about like the first part and then the second part.
Yeah, there's no rules.
So if there's no rules, I just wanted to, and it's a small thing, but I just wanted to highlight that the license plate for Eugene's bike says Euge. It just says Euge, YOOJ. And I thought that was just the most baller thing for a dorky kid. Also, can anyone attest?
He's just a huge Donald Trump fan.
Yeah, he's a huge.
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 No, can anyone like talk about the? he's so-
Arnold's gonna pay for my bike.
No. He puts the baseball card in the spokes of his bike, or he like pins it to it. What is that about? Because I didn't
Oh.
get that.
To make the
Yeah.
like the sound, like the
Oh.
flapping sound.
Okay.
Like I don't know if I ever did that, but I feel like friends or like my brothers definitely did, where you like, yeah, you put the baseball card, and it was like the coolest thing.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I
never-
actually I knew about it. I never met someone that actually had a card in there.
Really?
Nope.
It was like, wow, look at them go.
only seen
you
it-
can hear them coming.
Only saw it in movies.
So I'm gonna make a confession. It's quite possible that I didn't know how to ride a bike until I was in like the 7th grade.
That's okay.
That's
Properly
fine.
ride up and not like without training wheels. So I never really got into that thing, but I saw it on Hey Arnold, so I probably thought it was cool.
This is a safe place,
Yeah.
Colin.
It is.
I think I learned how to ride a bike in like 7th grade, and I don't think I've been on a bike since. So
It's not necessary.
Oh, I love bikes.
yeah,
I love
mean
bikes,
now,
too.
but now I can drive a car. So what's the point?
I do like a nice bike ride here
Nature.
and there. Like
Yeah.
when
No.
I go on vacation, I'll usually
Ugh.
take a bike ride.
What's the point?
Just drive there.
You'll be there so much faster.
Fair point. You got me there. I don't care
Yes,
about the
I got you with cars are faster than bikes.
Who would have thunk it?
I have a note here when Gerald makes a face at Helga, and the width he stretches his nostrils looks so painful. Oh my god.
I thought the same exact thing.
I was scared.
Well, the first episode, I mean, I feel like this is kind of a common theme with shows. The first episode is always a little rough around the edges, And I really felt that like the voice acting in these first couple episodes is kind of weird almost. Like the levels aren't like, I feel like weren't like figured out almost. Like there's like lines that Helga says and I couldn't tell what she was saying. She was like mumbling. But I guess it's because she's like an 11-year-old girl trying to talk.
Yeah,
you know?
It wasn't mixed particularly well, I think, at first. Like, the
Yeah.
audio editing is a little off. But one of my notes that I had is that, and I do think, like, the voice acting, some of the kids were a little wooden at first, except for the voice actress for Helga. Because one of my notes is 5 seconds in, and Helga's voice actress is giving, like, 150%. So, like, every line
she's
she
definitely
delivers.
conveying a lot.
Yeah, I'm like, and I didn't know that they were kids until you said that fact, Michelle. So that it was an actual kid makes it even more impressive. That I was like, this girl is like really giving it her all.
One of my favorite moments about the first half of this first episode is how it sets up Helga. She's like yelling at all the kids. And there's this shot, I don't know if it's like forced perspective or something, where she's towering over all of them. And it's just like so perfect because that is who she thinks she is.
And really, I mean, yeah, she's like being, you know, a jerk, but also she's just trying to put on a play. And I mean, Gerald and Arnold are just fucking dicks for no reason. Like, they're like, oh, also their like plan is like, oh, we just won't pull the thing. And it's like, you can pull it whenever and just go.
You can just go home.
Like, you can, yeah, you don't have to, like, what are you talking? But I guess it is like a little kid thing, you know, where you're like, you think the world is like always watching you and really no one gives a shit.
Yeah, no.
And okay, when they finally do put on the play, like the play's happening, we have to assume like these are parents in the audience and they start throwing garbage on stage.
I know, they're like 10. Listen, man, they live in the city.
Yeah, they want a good show. All right, that's not what they came
right.
here for. All right. Mm-hmm. They don't have time for this.
They really don't.
All right, let's talk about the costumes. Are great when they're walking downtown. That was so funny, and
and the two guys that also have the costumes.
but when like Gerald says slow down, this strawberry really chafes. But yeah, then they're just downtown and these two guys just happen. Like, I thought that bit was so funny, and when I first saw it, I was like damn, I was like, these guys like just got killed because they didn't deliver the money. But I mean, they're later seen in the bar. And he just delivers, what do you mean you have the wrong banana?
Also, why didn't he just give them the money when they met up at the bar later?
Had to be
why
discreet.
did they have to dress up
They had to throw it out of a moving car.
to a banana and a strawberry?
And
That's so specific.
And they bought these new fresh outfits. I mean, especially Arnold's, but he's got these banana shoes still. What I mean, what's
You don't
what's
like the banana shoes?
I don't know.
They pull them together. They pull the look together. They dress it.
Dude,
Listen, there's this. Don't you start with plot holes with Hey Arnold, Josh. It's perfect.
that whole bar scene is great. Just from like the short, witty writing, like it's so clever. But like the line that stood out to me was when they're playing pool, and Arnold, in like the most classiest, coolest way possible, goes, "Rack 'em up, fat man." It's like, this is a 9-year-old kid.
And he's like, he gives them like free sodas or whatever, and all of the adults are like thrilled about it at this like seedy downtown bar.
Yeah, I mean, all things considered, they were so like they never specify, and I even looked into it. They never specify what city they're in, and I think you're just supposed to assume it's like New York. Like that
Feels very New York.
That's what I felt.
Yeah, I feel like I skipped this in history class, but
Well, you can't make us learn anymore.
Yeah, it's
So
past 4
Hillwood.
o'clock.
Legally, you can't. 15 minutes. You didn't show up for 15 minutes. We can leave.
we can leave. Yeah, that's fair. No, but yeah, I read that the creator, like, he took inspiration from like Portland, I think,
Oh,
and like Washington, where he lived.
So that's why a bunch of kids are walking around and not getting stabbed. Because if it was New York,
just dead kids.
Yeah.
If it was New York, if it was Philadelphia, if it was Chicago, if it was literally any city.
Oh, that's funny. No, like the whole episode I thought had really funny lines, like the rack 'em up fat man, the quote Josh used earlier. But then another one was when they run into the genie, and they get like sort of scammed by the kids, and he goes, "I should have foreseen this."
Yeah.
I was like, that's just like really clever.
Yeah, it's funny because I remember a lot of this show, and I just remember it being like kind of heartwarming and like really kind of like,
Silly, goofy.
in general. Like I didn't remember. It's like there are a lot of jokes crammed into these episodes.
It's a very efficiently written show from like a comedy perspective.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked at like how often I was laughing. 'Cause I didn't remember it being like the funniest show. I just remember it being like really good and having like really good stories and distinctive characters and stuff. But it was also funny.
It's really funny.
Yeah.
No, it's going off the distinctive character thing. I think I mentioned it earlier, but that's what I love the animation in this. Like, obviously, like I'm a big fan of like 2D hand-drawn animation because I feel like maybe it's just me and maybe it's a stupid critique, but I'm finding with like more and more 3D animation, the character designs and the character models are becoming less and less distinct, and they're becoming a little bit more unified. Like especially with like Pixar and stuff like that, and DreamWorks and all that, like a lot of the characters just look the same. And then you go back to something like Hey Arnold, and like they all look like they belong in the same world together, but like you have Arnold who's got like a football shaped head. We talked about Gerald, and
They all look like fucking freaks.
yeah, it's so, but it's like so like aesthetically pleasing. Like they all have like these different character designs, and it's just, I don't know, it really helps the show stand out.
You see like the imagination and the creativity
Yeah.
that gets put into them, the designs and everything.
Yeah.
Well, the thing that I always loved about it was it really felt like they were in a city. Like the way that the background is drawn and all the buildings and everything. Like sometimes in shows it's like, oh, they live in a city and it's like the same 5 buildings like next to, and it's just like, oh no, this like really looks like they live in a city. Like they have like the the landscape and everything. It's pretty like it's pretty astonishing how fucking great this show looks.
Yeah, and even like this is obviously the first episode of the show, and like you can tell how much better the animation gets as the season goes along, because I think the other one we watch is like later season 1, but then the other one is I think 3 or 4. I can't remember.
Arnold's head is so thin in this first season.
Yeah.
It's so thin. It's like, how does that, like, he can't fit a brain in there.
I assumed he had like a football shaped brain as well. Like it was more like elongated.
Also.
Horizontal.
That would be incredible. You gotta feel for his mom pushing that thing out. Like
She abandoned
not
him.
have been
Oh
easy.
my god.
I don't feel bad. She abandoned him. Actually, I don't know if that's true. I forget what happens with the parents.
I think they get like, isn't it like a plane crash?
Oh,
Don't they get like stranded in the
I
jungle
don't
or
remember
something?
either.
maybe that
Yeah,
explains
something.
the welcome to the jungle
Oh,
thing.
that's why they're going to the jungle. Back to the jungle. Hey Arnold, welcome back to the jungle. See, I should have written this movie, or at least this title.
So the second part of this episode,
Yes.
this is definitely the episode where I laughed the most. I don't know about anyone else.
I have to talk about that montage when Arnold and Eugene are going
so
out.
good.
It's legitimate, like it's funny, but it's like legitimately like beautiful. Like
It
the
is.
music and the way that like all the freeze frames and everything, and then it's just like it's played for laughs, but because it's like presented in like a straight way, like when you see what happens to Eugene, it's funny, But it was like legitimately like heartwarming and beautiful up until Eugene gets fucking destroyed every single day, like every single thing that they do.
They remove his tonsils, man.
Oh my.
And he's
One
Yeah,
of
but you
my-
don't need them.
and he's just all right with everything.
Wait,
He's
doesn't he lose
fine
his
with
They
that.
remove
spleen
his
too?
spleen. Yeah.
I love that. Arnold's like, why does your voice sound so weird? And Eugene goes, oh, I think they accidentally removed my tonsils, but I really wish they would have left my spleen. And he's just like, it's fine.
Kid casually loses
Poor-
his spleen.
Poor kid. I mean, but he did end up having a good day, right?
Did he though?
Thanks
I know
to
he
Arnold.
believes he did.
And that's all that matters.
Well, that's the question, right? Like, is he so starved for attention that, you know, anytime with Arnold, he considered like that could be like borderline like a toxic friendship right there, you know?
Yeah, because
But it's not
He
like
just
Arnold does
takes
anything
it.
malicious.
no,
Like, it's
he
just
doesn't
Eugene
do
has
it
like the worst
intentionally.
luck. Mm-hmm. Like, they're literally running to the ball game and Eugene falls on his face. That's not Arnold's fault.
It is
Like,
though,
you
because
can't-
like
Yeah, it's
I feel
not.
like with that flashback they like demonstrate that like he only gets severely injured when Arnold's
yeah.
around.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's never like Arnold doesn't do it
No,
on purpose.
no, it's not
He's just
intentional.
there.
Yeah.
Arnold just needs to stay clear. Leave Huge alone.
The huge.
Did anyone else get like any Ferris Bueller vibes from the montage, or was that just me? Because it's not really like Ferris, but I don't know. Like he
The
takes
music seemed similar.
so the music, but also like Arnold's
To
taking
go to a ball game.
he's taking him out to have like a good day, which he tries to do with with
Right.
Cameron.
Yeah.
It was and then it was really just the ball game, and I don't know. Not that they're like the same character, but
They both fall in the water. I mean, Cameron does it on purpose, but
was there an art scene in the montage? Was there something where they were looking at a sculpture or some kind of like it was like
yeah,
it was like for
they
a
were
second.
at the they were with the
Oh.
thinker,
yeah,
Yeah.
they were just like staring
yeah.
at it.
and then
I was
there was
like,
another painter. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh
so
yeah, you're right.
so I wonder if
It
that was
is
like
Ferris
a
Bueller.
if that was like a little reference to it. But
Oh, Arnold also calls himself Abe Froman, the Sausage King of Chicago, during that montage. I don't know if you guys picked up on that.
I
did
must have missed
not.
that one.
Oh, okay, so then it's a definite reference. Good catch. No, I didn't even put two and two together.
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I never would have thought of that.
and the fact that I mean Eugene he exchanges gifts for Flag Day. That's nice. That's really excellent.
That's
I
fucking
wrote
crazy.
that too. Like, what?
He gets a new bike for Flag Day. What does he get for Christmas? What does he get for real holidays?
I will say this though: the fact that he wanted this bike more than amazing wealth and world peace. I mean, you went a little far there, Eugene.
I was crushed.
Did you
for
see the
him.
bike?
You're absolutely right.
It's a really nice bike.
And what in the hell? I literally wrote in my notes. I wrote, "What in the shit?" Arnold ties his shoes, and his books fall on the bikes, and it's a domino effect. And when it lands on Eugene's, it gets launched 20 feet in the
Yeah.
air onto the road.
Yeah. It's so ridiculous.
And then Arnold brings it back to his house, and he just turns into a mad scientist and just fixes.
Oh, that's
yeah.
great. That's so great.
Rebuilds the
That's
bike.
that's a great segment.
Yeah, it is.
And then he forgets the brake line, and then for some reason the whole bike falls apart.
Yep.
Yep.
Are we okay? We need to discuss this. Are we not sure that Arnold's not? Are we sure Arnold's not trying to actually kill Eugene and make it look like an accident? Because there's a lot of circumstantial evidence. Like, he almost drowns. Like, legitimately almost drowns. He puts glue in his face. Like, he sucks on glue.
Yeah.
You know.
That was a really sad montage. The flashbacks. That was actually like when he's just going through his whole
was.
life with Eugene, and you're like, wow, this poor kid. They really should have titled this episode "Eugene's Beating," not Eugene's Bike. It's not about the bike.
I wonder if Eugene's life would have been different. Like, maybe Eugene wouldn't have been like the dork or the geek or whatever they call him. Like, maybe he would have been popular if it wasn't for
Yeah,
Arnold.
that's
So
what I'm.
it's
Yeah.
all Arnold's fault.
Yeah.
Well, this changes the whole show.
What if there should have been an episode where Eugene tries to kill Arnold, and then his life like changes for like the better, and then he like realizes that while it might seem his life is better, it was actually better when Arnold was like there to keep him like level, and then he has to resurrect Arnold. So
Surprised it doesn't exist.
call me up,
Yeah.
Call me up,
Yeah.
Nickelodeon.
Where's the studio at? Send them a script. Well, what would you title it? Eugene's Revenge?
Yes. That's great.
Eugene's motorcycle.
Ooh.
Oh, he runs him over
He
with the
just turns
motorcycle.
into a badass.
Yeah, it's like when they're like fully adults.
Wait, I got it.
Too.
An inconvenient huge.
Hey Arnold must die. You know.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
You got a lot of options. Yeah.
Football head must die.
Now, for Arnold's Christmas, was that season 1, episode 18?
I have it written
Yeah.
down both because on Paramount Plus, where I watched it, it was episode.
Yeah,
20.
that's what it was on Hulu. So I didn't know what.
Yeah,
what it
there
was.
must have been some bullshit where like the one
Yeah, on
episode is counted as 2 or something.
On Amazon, it was
Yeah.
18. I don't know why.
My first
Weird.
thing I wrote was cozy as shit, because man oh man,
Yes. Oh, the intro. Come on. Like, it's just, yeah, cozy as shit is exactly what it is.
I've always had like this like affinity for like animated 2D snow. I don't know what it is, but like just like when I like see like
Yeah.
animated snow, especially in like an old cartoon, I don't know, it just like it puts you in like such a good mood.
yeah, it's amazing.
Not to bring up SpongeBob again, but I love when they're building the forts in
The
SpongeBob, the snow forts. They look so
Yes.
fucking good. They're like so perfect. And then Scooter has to fix the one side. Ugh, it's mwah. And then he builds the really big one.
And like right in the beginning of this episode, I mean, they really go at it with the selfishness. I mean, holy hell, Helga, or holy Helga, take it easy with the rant. It's like
She's
I
a
mean,
very
she is
intense
going-
kid.
she is going
That is-
in about like what
that's the
Christmas
second-
means.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Phoebe sets her ass straight.
I know.
Yeah.
right away.
Thank God for Phoebe because, yeah, she needs her. I wrote, like, I remember Helga being mean, but not like she is mean. She is relentlessly mean. Like,
Oh yeah, Helga's a piece of shit.
yeah, she's the worst.
That's gonna make the conversation
And-
for the last episode really fun.
Yeah, we'll get
Well,
into
that's-
why.
yeah.
We'll get into why.
Yeah, yeah.
I think one of my favorite lines in this episode, it had me cracking up. I don't know why, but when Gerald and Arnold walk out of the store, and he says, "What did you get your dad for Christmas?" And he says, "A nice plaid tie, not too loud." That is such a good line.
Dude,
I
that's
love
it's
that
so
he
smooth.
loves time.
the
Gerald's
writing.
great. I love Gerald so much.
Gerald's kind of
He
a
gets
dick
everyone
in
a
this
tie.
episode, though.
But then he's talking about Arnold convinces him he should get gifts that mean something to people. And then Gerald agrees, like, all right, maybe I'll give the tie to my uncle or grandfather, he says, and then get my sister a toy. And then he also says to Arnold, oh, I also have to return your gift.
Oh man. And they have community snowball fights. That's excellent. Do you guys remember? Like it looked like
Yeah.
just having a snowball fight in the neighborhood, but it looked like it wasn't even like their home neighborhood. It was just like it looked like
Yeah.
a snowball fight in the city.
Yeah, I think there were multiple Winter Hey Arnold episodes, if I remember correctly. But I feel like there was always a snowball fight in every single one of them. I could be wrong.
I mean, obviously,
And
so
then we get
like,
all
we've talked
deep.
about.
We get all deep and sad. Oh, go
Yeah,
ahead,
that's
Jake.
what I was about to say. No, that's what I was literally about to say is like the comedies in this episode, like with any of the episodes, and like the comedy writing is genius. But wow, did this episode like hit hard? And
Oh yeah, we straight up go to fucking Vietnam.
like I don't know, and I'd be interested to see like leading up, because this is, like we said, like depending on the platform you watch it on, either like the 18th or the 20th episode of the first season. I'd really like to see season 1, like leading up to this episode, if they ever get this real or this like deep and like kind of dark at certain points in any of the previous episodes, because they like really go for it here.
I think Stoop Kid is season 1.
I watched
And that
that
episode's
actually.
pretty. Is it season 1?
It is. It's season 1. It's like episode 12 or 13, and
Yeah,
it's a good episode.
That's kind of fucked too. What happens with Stoop Kid?
Yeah, that's on the darker end. Maybe this one is just more like emotionally driven because like again like I won't even front this episode had me tearing up by the end of it. Like it just like really like hit me emotionally.
Yeah,
the music,
I guess we should explain because
Well, I was just gonna say the music is really good in it too. Like when they're doing the Secret Santa, and Mr. Wynn, right? Colin, did I get it right?
it's it's Twin.
He's just like standing by the fire, and there's this nice music playing. I mean, leading up to his like being reunited. But like I thought that was really good too. It's like very emotional on different aspects.
Yeah, and oh yeah, so I guess we should go over kind of like what specifically we're talking about. Mr. Wynn, who's a tenant in the building that Arnold's grandpa runs. I think it's confirmed, like canon, that he's from Vietnam, and so like obviously the Vietnam War, you know, it's like they tell this flashback that the war was going on. Kind of weird. He lived in legit a village, but you know, whatever. And like the war was getting closer to his home, and he wanted to get his daughter out, his little infant daughter, his baby daughter out, and you know, the American soldiers couldn't fit everyone, and they only had room for one more, and he holds up his baby, and the soldiers take the baby, and then he comes to the city to try to find her, and that's why he's like living there. And it's just like, damn, this guy's like, he's on his own in the city, and he's just looking for his daughter, and it really gives like more of like a complexity to what up to this point has just been like a side character, like throughout season 1. I'm assuming, you know. It's like, wow, you're really just hitting us with this now. Like,
Yeah, it is quite sad, the whole episode, but it has a really nice ending, I think. Which is nice. He gets reunited with his daughter, which is also crazy. Okay, that Arnold, after one day, is able to find her.
Well, we didn't even talk about like
Arnold didn't find her.
Yeah, Helga is like a huge.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Like we can talk all the trash we want on Helga, but like in the end, like she comes through and gives.
I will say though, that guy has just worked a long fucking shift on Christmas Eve. There's no need to berate that guy. Come on, he's going home to his family. Like, get off him for a little bit.
Oh,
It's Christmas Eve. He just worked how fucking long? He couldn't even find time to do his Christmas shopping.
well, they did have a deal with Arnold, and they got everything except for one item. Like
Also fuck that guy
he
for
kind
like
of, he was kind of
for being
Yeah.
like, oh, there's only like last day, and I need to find these boots, and you weren't gonna get the boots anyway, dick. So
Yeah.
like,
Well, like another thing is like anyone. I'm sure all of us have gone Christmas shopping before, and the fact that they were able to get any of it last day before Christmas.
no,
So
I
they
don't
had
buy
that-
gifts for people. I just expect them to be given to me.
That's the way to do Christmas.
I wonder why I haven't gotten gifts in 5 years.
They had that thing where, you know, they ask for the item, and it's like a classic thing that happens in movies where the retail workers just laugh at them at their request. They don't even answer them. They just take a second to laugh at them. Like I remember that happening in Jingle All the Way. There's like a montage of them laughing at them.
Yes.
And that's what happens here. They just like what assholes. These are kids. And you just
Yeah, they're like 10.
just answer the question.
Imagine laughing in the face of a 10-year-old.
Imagine laughing at anyone for asking if you have something in your store. Like
Well, like to be fair, I've gotten mad at a few retail guests before, but to laugh at a kid, that's another thing, man. Like in this show in general, there are some mean-spirited people that exist in the world of Hey Arnold. And Arnold is a beacon of light.
Like when Oscar puts his name in the bowl for the Secret Santa, and it's all Oscar.
I forget who says it, but they go, Oscar, you bum.
What did he think would happen on like the actual exchange when he got all the gifts? Did he think that would end well?
Right?
Yeah, I don't think Oscar thinks ahead.
No.
So yeah, I mean, great episode. Just really, really good one.
Specifically have it in my notes, and I guess it's not as bold of a statement now after what you said earlier, Colin, but I wrote just down one of the best episodes of TV that I've seen, and that's like counting animation and live action. Like,
wow.
I don't know if I'd put it in like a top 5 or anything, but it would definitely crack like a top 15 because I was just like overwhelmed with how much I really enjoyed that episode and just every aspect of it.
Goes Breaking Bad, Ozymandias,
Yeah.
Sopranos, what's the Pine Barrens, Hey Arnold, Christmas.
Yeah, they all share the same thing in common. They're all super dark. No, yeah, no, I don't know if that's just a bold statement, or like recency bias, but like, I don't know, just like the animation, the storytelling, the writing, the balance of comedy and drama, and just like, I'm not someone who usually gets like choked up or tears up at like heavily emotional things, especially like animation. I don't know, I just don't connect with it as much as live action. But something about this episode just like really struck a chord with me emotionally.
Josh, I think I'm gonna win, just so you know.
Oh, yeah, Colin. I mean, once we're ready for the end, I'm gonna actually I'm gonna light up your day a little bit with a comment.
Oh, really?
I am. You know.
Okay.
Well, I can't get into it yet, but you'll be happy.
Okay.
You'll be happy to hear.
Okay. Oh, you meant, okay, I see what you mean. I thought you meant you were really like gonna light me up, like you were gonna hit me with something big, like something bad.
No, I'm gonna.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna Christmas episode your ass.
You're gonna reunite me with my daughter?
All right, so season 4, episode 16. Oh yes, Michelle.
Oh, nothing. I was just gonna say, as like a move into the last episode we watched, in the Christmas episode, Helga like calls her parents by their first name, which I feel like I was sort of like, why? I don't understand. But like this episode that we watched, season 4, episode 16, sort of answers all the whys about why Helga is the way that she is.
She calls him by what?
Miriam and
No. What did you say before?
their first name.
Call me by your first name.
She calls them by their first name. Which at first I was like, who are these people? But then I realized she calls them like people? mom and dad at some point. But yes, season 4.
Before we get into this episode, like really get into it, I just have to say something. WandaVision ripped this off. I'm just gonna say it, with the black and white, the whole black and white sitcom.
Oh,
like they're playing up.
They did.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's one. And 2, The Office rips it off because the psychiatrist is like playing games with Helga. And if you remember the Office episode where Michael has to do the sensitivity training with Toby, he does the exact same thing with Michael that the psychiatrist does with Helga. So it's a trailblazer of a show.
There you have it. Hey Arnold has influenced pop culture more than you think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the next episode, which I think is funny because the 3 episodes we watched, so in the first episode, you don't see Helga's parents at all. And then in the second episode, the Christmas one that we watched, you only see them for a moment, and it looks like they generally have like a nice family. Like it's a nice moment. Like she gets her the daughter's boots and everything, and she's so happy, and she doesn't like, there's no like aggression within the family. And then you watch the episode we're about to talk about, and then like your world is just kind of opened up. And so I just thought it was a funny like 3 episodes, especially in terms of like Helga's transition from like her character and all that. But
Yeah, I wasn't like expecting such a like this is really a Helga heavy like show, you know? Like I know there were other episodes where they focused on minor characters, but I feel like they did do a lot of Helga stuff over the years, like over the seasons, you know?
from what I remember, and I remember very little of the Hey Arnold movie that Michelle mentioned that came out like before the show ended initially, the first movie. I think that movie was centered around, or if not centered, at least talked heavily about like Helga and like confessing her feelings for Arnold.
Mm-hmm.
And because I know like obviously they addressed that in this episode and everything, but I think in that movie she may in fact like actually tell him how she feels. So like I definitely think she like is one of the not main characters per se, but like plays a heavy part throughout the show, I'd assume.
Definitely. So I had like a PTSD moment watching this when they flash back to Helga in preschool and she goes, who's gonna take me to preschool? And I was like, oh, I remember this. Like I remember word for word, like the cadence, every single thing, like the way that she said it and everything. I was like, oh my God, like just a rush of memories came back.
It was heartbreaking.
Yeah, fuck her parents.
Yeah.
Her mom's a fucking wino. Like,
She just drinks smoothies, Colin.
no, yeah, that's a stand-in.
I just need a smoothie.
It was just like
Yeah.
So
Falls
there was like
asleep
a
on the
lot of
couch.
it's when I saw that, I instantly thought of Matilda. It's like exactly how you would picture her life. But I mean, in all honesty,
I think we need to keep a counter how often we bring up Matilda and Willy Wonka. I wonder which one we bring up more.
I'm still going Wonka.
I think Wonka's more, but Matilda's gaining tracks.
But like this one felt even sadder than Matilda. I mean, I don't really feel sad when I watch Matilda. But this one actually felt
Because
a
she
lot
can
sadder,
do magic
but-
and Helga can't.
yeah.
Well, it's funny you brought up that scene, Colin. Well, not funny, but considering the scene. But it's something that I noticed on my second watch because I really wanted to be thorough, so I watched like all the episodes twice. And on the second watch, I noticed that they sort of do two scenes that are pretty similar, and it's the scene that you mentioned where she's like a kid, and you notice in that scene she says, "I'm going to preschool," and she like begs them multiple times. But as an adult, when she has to go like walk in the rain to school, she just says one time, "I'm going to school." She doesn't like ask them. She doesn't repeat it. It's like at that point, even though she's only like 9 years old, she knows that like her parents are not reliable and she just has to be on her own. And it's like, it's really sad. But I just thought that was like a neat thing that the writers did there.
It's funny that Jake, as a guest, wanted to be thorough and watch this twice. Meanwhile, I literally wrote the Apple facts 5 minutes before we started recording. So you can see who kind of cares more.
Those were great Apple facts. I appreciated the Sam Darnold one a lot.
I literally was like cutting the grass and I was like, I need to think of Hey Arnold facts. Hey Arnold. Hey Darnold. Okay, maybe there's something there.
Yeah, I really appreciated this episode though, because it makes Helga sort of not just like this terribly mean person for the sake of being a mean person. Like I feel like I read somewhere in comparing her to like Angelica from Rugrats. Like Angelica is just kind of mean because she's mean. I mean, she's a baby, but you know. And Helga's mean for a reason.
Yeah, Angelica's like 3, I think. Like it's a little different.
Yeah, it's very different, but. Yeah, I don't know. She still sucks, but this is a great episode, in my opinion.
Yeah, it like contextualizes why she sucks, but she still definitely sucks.
Oh, she's still the worst.
Yeah, like it doesn't excuse her behavior, but it's
Not
like
at all.
it's like when you learn that like a serial killer's like parents were like abusive to them, and it's like okay, that contextualizes why they killed a bunch of people, but it doesn't excuse the behavior, you know?
Yeah. Like, it's
But
like,
then
I get it,
but then the therapist is like, nah, you can keep doing whatever you want. Just stop hitting just stop hitting people. It's like, that doesn't seem right.
She really goes, she's like, so I can keep being like a bully to everyone, and the therapist is like, yeah.
You can keep worshiping Arnold and
Unhealthy ways.
Yeah.
No.
It's so weird.
The therapist does say, as long as you're not harming anyone, I don't see a problem with your shrine.
Yeah, but her like bullying all those kids is definitely doing some harm.
Even the shrine thing, I don't think is like a healthy coping mechanism.
Oh no, not at all. You should
not to
support that.
psychoanalyze a 9-year-old, but
maybe the therapist was afraid of what she would do.
she's afraid of
otherwise.
Helga. Yeah,
I mean,
that's
she
fair.
does rule out animal sacrifices, which is good.
Yeah,
I forgot
she's
that
like, no,
joke.
you can't do that. Mm-hmm.
No, I one of the things that I found really sad about this episode, and it makes me like really sympathize and empathize with Helga, is like she's not just mean because of what happens to her. Like, yes, they show like tragic things in her background, that like she has neglectful parents and the kids at school bullied her when she was a kid, which, you know, gave her like a strike first mentality, which is already sad in its own right. The whole like, you know, being sort of nature versus nurture, like she became this because of what she had to deal with. But she's a girl who, like, I feel like has actual mental health issues to the point where she doesn't know how to express her emotions, and it comes out in violent ways. And maybe that's too deep of a theme to think of a TV show doing, but at least that's what I took from it. Like, they were trying to explore a character who like was a bully, but also was a bully because she didn't know how to channel those emotions into positive ways. I don't know if I'm just going overboard, but
No, I think that makes sense. Like, they even they make like a joke of it, but early in the episode, Principal Warts is like, PS 118 is the picture of mental health, and then it hard cuts to Helga just bullying people.
great edit.
And it's like, yeah.
Yeah, one of the, like, in the psychologist's office, she has like a Bobo doll. I don't know if you guys like ever learned that in high school, but that doll, there was a literal experiment, like a very famous psychology experiment done, where parents would like abuse this doll and then see what their kids would do to it after watching them do that. And like Angelica's like punching it at some point. So I feel like, Jake, like what you were saying, like she only knows how to express what her parents expressed to her, which is anger.
Yeah, I
so
think that was called
interesting.
Pavlov's Bobo doll.
Yeah, something like that.
I have to bring it up just because it kind of caught me off guard. Did you guys catch the 1984 reference? Like, there's a hard 1984 reference in this episode.
I did not.
No.
She's talking to the therapist about patient doctor confidentiality, and she's like, even if someone put your face in a cage with a starving rat, and that's how they torture, like in 1984, that's how they torture the political prisoners.
Wow, I completely
I did
forgot
not
about
catch
that.
Yeah.
Well, they show off, and there's like, I'm not even surprised that that's like a reference, because it's like in line with the character. Like, that's part of like the introduction with the therapist, is like showing that Helga is like super smart and can make like these astute observations about like weird foreign paintings.
Yeah, and she writes some goddamn some serious soliloquies just kind of come off the top of her head about Arnold, you know?
Yeah, she does.
Let's see, what else? Yeah, but like, if I was Arnold, and like eventually, like, I guess you said, Jake, in the movie, she might tell him like her feelings about him.
I
But, like,
believe so, yeah.
If I was Arnold, do you know how fucking pissed I would be? If it was like, you've treated me like shit, like the entire time I've known you, and now you lay this on me? What do you expect me to say to that? You know? So it all comes back to Arnold being a victim of everyone around him, because everyone around him sucks.
Except Eugene.
Except for,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Arnold has to terrorize something. Listen,
Yeah.
everyone around Arnold is a psychopath. He needs to get his aggression out on someone, and Eugene's just there.
Yeah, no, Arnold is always, and like I watched a couple episodes, like I said, and every episode it seems like Arnold's just like this beacon of hope. The what I had watched was it's called The Pigeon Man, and I'm not sure if you remember it, Colin, but it's like another one of those episodes where there's like a myth and a legend, and it's about this like guy named the Pigeon Man, who all the kids like call a freak and everything, and Arnold is like the only one who is like, oh, maybe he's not so bad, and it turns out he's just like this really gentle, kind, homeless man.
Yes, I do remember
Which
it now. Yeah.
now that I'm thinking
Like
about
the
it,
pigeons are on the roof, right?
was that before or after Home Alone 2?
Home Alone 2.
Huh.
Interesting.
Thoughts there, yeah.
I thought you were going to talk about the Monkey Man episode. Who Monkey Man does show up in the pilot of Hey Arnold, in the first episode of Hey Arnold, and then they have a whole episode devoted to him, like in like the third or fourth season, I think.
No, I did not watch The Monkey Man, but
Oh,
I'm curious too. But yeah, no, Arnold's just always just like this beacon of hope. Like even Gerald, and that's why like maybe it was a bit aggressive, but in the Arnold's Christmas episode, I wrote Gerald keeps being a dick because Arnold is like, oh, I really want to do this nice thing for Mr. Wynn and like find his long lost daughter, and Gerald's like, man, you're crazy. You know, that's a stupid idea. It's like,
Arnold is the football head we deserve, but not the one we need right now, or whatever the fucking quote is. What is it?
no, I think you got it.
The hero.
I nailed it. Yeah. So do we have anything to say about these episodes before we rate them?
One more note or two I have on the last episode. Just back on the mom and dad. Dad is a true dumbass. Calls him Beethoven instead of Beethoven.
Oh yeah.
Which I wonder if I don't know if any of you saw Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, but they call Beethoven Beethoven. Has anybody seen it?
Oh.
It's been a long time.
So I wonder
Yeah,
if
it's been
that's
a
like a
while.
little reference to Bill and Ted. And I mean, the mom literally packs her shaving cream, some crackers, and the moist towelettes. I mean, she is on something else, and those smoothies definitely got some shit in there.
And but what
A
does
lot of shit.
Helga do with her lunch, Josh?
Wait. You mean when she leaves? Doesn't
No, she talks about her lunch then to the therapist. What she does with it?
I actually forget.
She trades the shaving cream.
Oh yeah, because the guy thought it was like some kind of whipped cream or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't.
She didn't give a fuck what her mom thought though. So I guess.
And then one last thing I'll leave with is the one quote the therapist says, which is, you know, it's nice but kind of sad. She says everyone needs to be noticed, otherwise life would be terribly lonely. To Helga.
Oof.
Wrote that down. That was nice.
It's a really good quote,
That's
actually.
nice. Yeah.
It's
One of the quotes I wrote down was you threw 57 spitballs at him during class. 57?
I know. You see when he ruffles his hair at the end of class and all those spitballs fall out. Ugh.
I mean, 57.
Not sanitary.
that's
Yeah, that's so many. Yeah, but that's a really nice quote.
That's like the level of writing
Overall.
is great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited to get into this. If no one has anything else to say, we can get into the ratings.
Yeah.
I guess we're gonna
Should
rate
we
it.
do-
We're gonna rate it collectively as one. We're not gonna do individual episodes. We're just gonna give it
Right.
one fat
Should we
rating.
do one big fat football head rating? Should we do guest first or guest last? What do you think?
Guest first.
Okay.
Guest first.
And Jake, your scale is out of
97.
97.
97.
Yeah, I thought about this for a bit because I love your guys' rating system. I think it's super unique, and you could still get the point across. I think I'm gonna go with an 84 out of 97. which I know is a very high score, but like if I were giving this an like 9 out of 10, A plus, like, or A at it, whatever. I really enjoyed this, and not even just as like, oh, like this holds up as a kid's show. I think it holds up like just as a show. Like again, like all of us watched it, all of us were touched by the emotional moments. We laughed at the comedy parts, and I think that it's a kid show and it still holds up. It came out what, 96, so I'm not even gonna do the math, but years later, I think that's incredibly impressive. Yeah, 85 out of 97.
Oh wait, 85 or 84?
85 or 84?
Wait, 85 or 84?
Did I say 84?
Yeah.
You did first,
85.
but then you said 85.
85.
85.
I don't know why I said
Okay.
84. 85 out of 97.
That's
Okay.
an interesting score, because if you remember, that's the same score Josh gave Scooby-Doo an 85.
Wow.
Josh and Michelle, if you remember
What?
that.
I did. And that, I mean, I can go next because I'm sure Colin is very
for it.
eager for my Christmas present to him. But so, all right, how do I begin? So this was a very, very pleasant surprise because I haven't watched this show, I'd say, since I was like oldest, 10 maybe. So yeah, this was very, like, I mean, I completely forgot. Colin told me, and I was like, wow. I mean, that's really high on the list, but I'm excited for it. And I know if anyone recalls the Scooby-Doo episode, to be fair, I did take how much I love the show more into account. But see, when I have a show like this and the elements of it are so well done, such as writing, and I mean, the writing is the standout for me in this show. It's like, as Jake said, it holds up as a kid's show, but it holds up for adults equally. So I remember what I gave Scooby-Doo, and even if I like Scooby-Doo more, this is a better show. This is a better made show. I am gonna have to give this show an 87 out of 95. And
87
you know what?
At a 95.
And that doesn't take away my love for Scooby-Doo, but I have to admit it when it's in front of my face. This is a better show overall. I think they have their great components for different reasons. I don't think Scooby-Doo specializes in what Hey Arnold does. They're just really different. But yeah, Hey Arnold, very, very great show.
I'll go next. Yeah, so the show's great. You can't really dispute that. It's a fantastic show. And I also way back when I gave Ed, Edd and Eddy like an 81, I think. And this is way better by miles. And that, I also jumped the gun on that show because just like for how much I loved it. So yeah, I definitely have to give this a higher score because there wasn't like a lot that I didn't like about it, and it's way better by a lot. So I gave it an 84 out of 97.
I like that.
All right. So here's the deal.
Oh no.
Little bit of how the sausage is made. I believe I made a comment when we were a few weeks ago. Josh, Michelle, we were discussing potential topics, and we were talking about what topics would we project would possibly get the perfect birth year, right? What would what would I give a 94 or 90? Yeah, right. And I brought up, I said, you know what? Honestly, before we even asked Jake to be on the show, or even knew what his suggestion would be, I said, honestly, I think Hey Arnold would have a really strong shot at it. And I think I believe that's when I said, I think it's the greatest cartoon ever. I'm not giving it a perfect birth year. However, it's very, very high. I just can't get over, I knew the show was good going into it. I forgot how many jokes were in the show. And so, you know, there are some things that I know we kind of just spent the last almost like 2 hours gushing over the show. There are things that I think there are problems with it, but I'm going to give it a very high score. I'm giving it an 88 out of 94. I just think it's, you know, it's unbelievable how well it held up at like for like adults, you know?
So yeah, Colin, at the bottom of my notes, I have, because I was trying to decide before I gave it, I have 87/88. Would have been funny if I should have said 88, then we would have had a tie. Ooh. I don't know if you had yours written down before you.
Well, your scale does go up higher than mine by a point, so mathematically it would have been different. And
when we were talking about that, what might get a perfect birth year, I remember a show I said, don't know if you guys remember, but I'm going to leave that a surprise for when we finally review it.
I've recently consumed something that is on our list that I have already decided is getting a perfect birth year. Just letting you guys know.
I think if I had to give a perfect birth year to any like kid show that I watched as a kid, and it's because I recently rewatched it within the last year, but Avatar: The Last Airbender would.
It's fucking excellent.
It's a perfect show. It is a perfect 3-season show.
Josh, if I guess the show, can you give the review now? Is it a show?
Yeah. In all honesty, I haven't watched it recently, so I could give you my rating.
Is it Batman the Animated Series?
It is Batman the Animated Series. That is phenomenal. It is. Oh my god.
Yeah.
You want to talk about writing?
I have watched that recently. It is great.
Oh my god, the Mr. Freeze episode. I recently rewatched that on HBO. Wow.
It's unbelievable.
It's really good.
It's incredible. Yeah. Thanks, Bruce Timm.
So, final score. We do percentages here. An 89.82% for Hey Arnold.
I would be hard pressed to find someone who like couldn't enjoy this show, like adult or kid. Like I think you could show this to kids nowadays and it would still hold up.
Oh yeah.
Anyone have nieces or nephews they want to try it out on?
I have a niece. She's 6. She might be a little young to really get into it, but we'll see. She likes Paw Patrol, so I don't fucking know. She likes Bluey too. Have you ever seen? I've talked about to Josh and Michelle about Bluey. Jake, have you ever seen the show Bluey?
No. I remember you talking about it on one of the podcast episodes that I listened to, but I have not seen it now. Just
look up YouTube clips of Bluey. It will melt your heart, and it's so funny and it's so well written. It's great. It's fucking incredible. It's maybe the best like preschool show I've seen, like as an adult. Ooh. And listen, I'm someone who grew up with Bear in the Big Blue House, so it's pretty high praise.
You're bringing Bear in the Big Blue House into it. That's a bold statement.
You gotta watch it. It's so good. So yeah, that's our show. Who wants to do the plugs? Well, I guess we should ask our guest, Jake. What would you like to plug? Let everyone out there know how to find you and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Don't give out your address and social security number. But
that was gonna be my first thing. I was gonna give my bank card number out too.
Yeah, fuck it, do it.
Do whatever feels right.
Yeah, also, you can find me on my upcoming podcast, Scared Speechless, where me and my friend / co-host Aaron talk about a different horror film every episode. We are currently looking at a bi-weekly release schedule where we release 2 episodes a month every other week, and if it turns into something, if the demand is high enough, then maybe we'll switch to a weekly release schedule where there's 4 episodes a month, but as of right now, bi-weekly is what we're looking at. We are looking at a release date of May 2nd. I'm thinking of dropping our first 2 episodes, the first being on Gremlins and the second on the Babadook. So yeah, you can find us at our Instagram at Scared Speechless, as well as our Facebook page under the same name, Scared Speechless. But yeah, we are looking at May 2nd, like I said, for a release date, so stay tuned for that. And if you like things horror related, then go check us out. We should be on Spotify, as well as Apple Music and YouTube. You can find me on Instagram at boozjacob, BOOSJACOB. Also follow my YouTube channel, Former Film Student. I talk about movies, TV shows, and I'd like to start doing a little bit more stuff about filmmaking in the future, like my experiences with film school and also just film tricks that I picked up over the years. I think that would be really fun. And hopefully in the next 5 to 10 years, you can find me at the Oscars. I don't know. We'll see.
Ooh.
That's what I'm talking about.
Bold
was
prediction.
great.
For your Hey Arnold live action movie, right? That you're gonna make.
Oh yeah, I would cast
God.
I would cast Jacob Tremblay as Arnold.
You're gonna have to squish his head
That's
a little
good.
bit, though.
I don't want to see what that'll look like in live action.
Well, if you want to follow us, you can follow us on Instagram at Millennial Milkshake, on Twitter at MilkBasedPod, and on Snapchat at MilkshakePod. We also have a Facebook, Millennial Milkshake, there. If you could do us a favor, if you like this show, please, please, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. You have no idea how much that helps us. Episodes are out every Tuesday. Of course, you can find us on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and anywhere. I mean, what are you listening to us on now? Like, just pay attention. If you want to follow us individually, I am at The Last Call. Call spelled COL on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Michelle is on Instagram at Michelle Thoughts. That's thoughts spelled the way you think. And Josh is on Instagram at Joshi_124. Joshi spelled with an IE. Jake, I always try to kind of cause a little chaos at the end of the episode, to do a nice little send off, and then Josh will normally cut me off and say, "Stay creamy." That's kind of our dynamic. So I don't know how we want to do this now, but Jake, if you got anything to say before we sign off, now would be the time.
I don't know.
Before I cream you.
We could talk about, like, how long do you think it took Oscar to pick up those football-shaped turds? Because I'm thinking, with his work ethic, it's probably a while, right?
Probably a really
Long
long. This is a
time.
guy who puts his name, in on every
I know,
slip
he's such
or
a
a
piece
seat.
of shit.
Such a shitty movie.
So stay football head.
And thanks for joining us, Jake.
Oh, yeah, that's what we do,
Yeah.
right?
And thanks for joining me.
Oh, I forgot what we do.
Josh.
I was waiting for it. I was
Colin.
waiting for the thank yous.
Thanks for
forgot what we
I
do.
know. I was like, what are you talking?
Well, I have been kind of bullshitting at the end of episodes lately, and Josh will just be like, "Stay creamy," and end it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you
But
three
thank you,
for
Jake.
oh,
Yeah, thank
oh,
you.
jinx.
Thank you.
Yep.
Nope. Let's all say it at
Oh,
the same
that-
time. Ready? Let's all say it. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, Jake, for joining me. Yep, that
Thank
was
you,
that
Jake.
just me?
Thank you, Jake.
For joining
yeah,
me.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for
Thank
you, Jake,
thank
for
you guys
joining
for
me.
having me. Thank you for creaming me.
Yep.
All right, everyone, stay creamy.